Motion passes. Next thing on the agenda is approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes and dispense with the reading.
Thomas made the motion, we approve the minutes from the last meeting and dispense with the reading. Do I have a second? Cam second. Any discussion? If none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next thing is review the report from the maintenance department. Mr. Hillis, will you get through signing? I'll turn the floor over to you.
Other than just general things, we fixed the door handle. It was handicap door handles are a little pricier and more complicated than folks may think. Mowing, we done, of course, a lot of folks have noticed the landscaping project that's went on over at the mall. That was several days, quite a bit of work there. The plant controller from Pelican, this DHC bid that we already approved for the courthouse, that was installed this past week. So now all the controls, the variable speed on the cooling tower now actually works, that we paid for before, even though it was set for certain speed constant. The pumps in the basement down there, we had a regular pump and then a backup pump. They now swap every 2 weeks so that they will run an equal amount of wire to them. The only piece left of that is the thermostat, the project that we plan on doing this coming year going forward.
In the basement. What do you use that for, this storage?
Well, right now, there's a little bit of storage down there, but it's down. You can't store much. There's some air conditioners, the window units that we used when the cooling tower went out, they're down there, which they're fine, you know. But as far as any kind of files or anything like that, we can't really use
These
them.
pumps are just sump pumps. It's something.
No, these are the flow pumps, the circulation for the board system.
Okay.
That's how the compressors and all those units stay cool or stay to a certain temperature because they're not on the roof and don't have airflow. The water does that job for us. So there's 29 units in the courthouse. And they all flow through that water system. Of course, there's a boiler that heats the water in the wintertime. Of course, the cooling tower cools it down. That cooling tower was running 24/7. That has been fixed. That only runs on demand now. So that's going to save an enormous amount of electricity. And the variable speed portion that was basically put in place to ensure we don't have any freezing or anything, they had set it on its highest limit, and that's what it was running on. The way Lee Company had it, that's all been fixed where it only uses what it needs to use now. Now, for that whole system to work properly through the whole building, we do need to change over those thermostats to that Pelican system.
There's a thermostat we changed in there.
Yes,
How
we
much
have
was it?
over $700,
There's 20.
29 up there. Now that is the labor and everything.
22, 3.
There's 4 left in this building.
Jason, is the stuff that the department's fixed so far, is that what some of the issues was up in circuit court, where it seemed like it was warm a few days that people were talking about? Is that something different?
That's something different. Now we did have a problem with when Lee Company, they put in that pump for the chemical on the new cooling tower. That line there's a purge on that if it gets too much in it that goes into the cooling tower, that opening, that pit that it sits in. That was running constantly, and we were losing some of the chemical. That's some of the problem that they had, because when you lose that chemical, those filters, those Y strings in each individual unit get more traction and have to be cleaned out a lot more often. And upstairs in Bart's courtroom and in Bart's Judge's Chambers. That is the end of that line before that line goes back downstairs, back in the cooling tower, and back into the main system. So the junk that gets caught up in those widescreens typically collects in those last 4 units. The jury room, the 2 units in Bart's courtroom, and Bart's chambers. This will remedy that, but to my knowledge, we might have any more problems.
No,
Since we
not
got that fixed.
And it's only because I'm up there 3 or 4 days. a
There's
week.
no kind of a filter that can filter that stuff out.
Each individual unit has its own filter, but the chemical that goes in the flow in the loop system keeps a lot of that cleaned out, the scaling and all that sort of thing cleaned out. Well, when that's purging too much, then your chemicals getting too thin. Now that has been repaired also.
So the scaling that occurs, is that because there's no ethylene glycol in the cooling?
It gets thinned out. But the chemical guy comes and checks that every quarter. Well, if that's purging too much water out of the system, then that, before he gets here on his 90-day cycle, that's getting thinned out. But that's correct.
Okay, so that's not gonna happen.
No, it's not gonna, that's been fixed.
Has the ethylene glycol been
Yes,
brought back up to
that's.
spec?
And the last time we cleaned the screens out was when he came 2 months ago, and I've not had no other problem since.
What about the little things upstairs on the outside of the sessions courtroom there? I think I sent an email about there's in the bathroom for the men's bathroom.
Although, yeah, we've not gotten a lot of that just yet. I mean, we try to find certain things to do when it's bad weather, but as soon as the weather's good,
Yeah.
we're just wide open on the outside stuff, for mowing and other things. So
Yeah,
it fluctuates around. We've had a leak up in Lisa's office that has been leaking for a long time, and we were just made aware of it recently. But there was a full sheetrock tear out because we had some mold on the wall. That took several days of our indoor time there. But those particular items are on the list
okay,
to be done.
okay. And Tara Mons' office,
She sent me an email of everything that she wanted done.
okay,
That bill, the best to my estimates, is about $40,000.
40 grand. But what does she want then?
All new flooring,
Mm-hmm.
all new tile grids and new tiles. Those particular tiles that match the rest of what was put in the hallways and in some of the other rooms is a very expensive tile. The tile you're looking at here is about $7.50 each. Those are about $16 each. It's that particular pattern, that particular style. I don't know, it was before me. So, and the grids are expensive. Of course, all new molding and all new paint.
Yeah.
So,
And
judging by some of the flooring projects and what I know about what we paid for ceiling stuff so far, that's where I get that number.
Okay.
I have not actually called someone to do a formal estimate because this is a pretty recent request.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But just based on her square footage and what we've done in the past, that's where I come from.
Okay.
And that's probably on the high end, you know.
Yeah, it sounds like it, yeah.
It won't be, I don't think it'll be much off.
Yeah.
When we look at, when we done the flooring, Ryan's offices, that LVP flooring, it was a nicer, it's like any other building material. You can get cheap stuff, middle grade stuff, and you get high end.
Yep.
So going about middle of the road, that's almost 20,000, I think, installed.
Right.
It's just that stuff. I mean, we just got through doing carpet over here across the hall, and that was $9,800. It's expensive. Of course, that's one thing. If you buy the better stuff, it does hold up to a lot more traffic over time than the cheaper stuff does when it comes to carpet, especially flooring. So.
Okay.
When was the last time that office?
I don't know. Nobody.
I was in
that
there.
One Barry was in?
Yeah, I was in there and it smells musty.
It's been a while. Very telling me a while.
Been a
But
while.
yeah, he said he can't even remember what it's been.
Yeah,
But
it does smell musty in there.
New products is not going to help that. There's usually a reason something's smelling dusty.
No, I understand, yeah.
And those interior offices, in my opinion, all of upstairs has a little bit of a musty smell.
Mm,
Maybe not the hallways, but both courtrooms, they're just old.
Yeah, I mean,
Stuff, I mean,
it's-
upstairs, the balcony that was originally in the courthouse is all still right up above that drop ceiling. All that old wood and everything, you can crawl up in the ceiling in there, the balcony still is. So that stuff, it's gonna make an old, musty smell.
Old house.
You know, like old house smell.
Yeah.
But the downstairs, the interior offices such as that particular one in where Myra's at, there's no windows, there's not, you know, it's a little, I wouldn't say stuffy, but it's a little musty in there. Just,
Does she,
our windows look out to the across the street to whatever the Main Street stuff. I forgot where it is, but it ain't nothing's coming in. But it is south.
does Tara want carpet back in there?
she did not specify, she just said move forward.
Yeah.
Now I'm assuming, considering who her
Yeah.
boss is, I want to match.
The corn,
And that's kind of
But
the
that-
way I,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
the carpet's cheaper than that, or no?
It really depends on the carpet. You know, you can go super high end on any of it, super low end.
Is it gonna be the same as this? For the carpet, is that what you're?
I would assume so. This is the highest traffic stuff that on South does. And when we go with the squares, if we have a problem, we don't have to rip up everything. We just take up a square here and there.
Exactly.
One of the biggest reasons why this building, I'm assuming, was done in the squares to start with.
Yeah.
Because we had that issues in Wes's office and a couple offices where we've had to pull some up from a roof leak. And it's a lot cheaper just to do the squares for a corner than it is to cut and start to put seams together and all that.
Yeah. So is the 40,000, that's flooring and the ceiling
That'll be
tiles?
all of it, I would assume. It may be a little less than that, but I'm
Just,
probably pretty close.
just those two items?
All new baseboards, molding, all new ceiling grids and tiles and flooring and paint.
She will get more traffic. Does get more traffic than, say, for instance, Judge Moore's office and even Mickey's side because of what she has to do. So there's constant people in there, meetings sometimes, kids in and out.
Right,
She does juvenile.
right.
I mean, we have attorneys go in, DCS goes in. She has way more people in there than.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just so y'all know kind of what, her office is kind of hold.
Anything else from the maintenance department?
No, unless you want to discuss the generator.
Well, we can do that under other business.
Okay.
I need a motion to accept Jason's report.
Motion.
Scott's made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Chris second. All those in favor? Any discussion? More discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next thing is to discuss the courthouse elevator contract.
I have not got the courthouse elevator contract yet. They are coming tomorrow. They're coming to fix the phone tomorrow, and then they will look at all of our equipment and send me back a quote on that contract.
But,
Estimated is about $3,800 a year. They will come quarterly. They will keep us completely compliant with the state for all inspections, everything. They will actually communicate with the state and just send us a report, so we won't get any more surprises. It's not much different than the Kone company that put the thing in. However, we've not had some of the best experiences dealing with it. This is a new expense. That warranty ran out on that elevator this month. It's the end of that.
that's
So
why,
we've not had a maintenance agreement in the past on this elevator. It's 5-year warranty and it's expired.
that's why we need to have the meeting so we could get the contract wrote before June 1st.
Yes.
Cause, just wants all POs in by June 1st.
Who'd you say it was coming?
TriStar elevator. They're out of Columbia.
So, and that has to be sent out to bid?
No, but it does have to be voted on.
We need to, you look and see how much money we still had in restricted.
Not in restricted, you got 33,000.
Did you say 3,800 annually to maintenance?
Yes. That would be the maximum. I don't know for sure. He said it would not be more than that. It may be a little less based on our equipment and what they typically do.
You got money in your budget to cover that.
But
Right, so you're gonna take it out of regular maintenance.
So is that something that, any different elevator companies can handle, can work on? Or does that have to be specific to that manufacturer?
No, they can work.
Let me tell you, elevator companies, you can pretty well count them on one hand.
Yeah,
That's one of the
Right.
reasons
There's-
their pricing is not particularly cheap. It's not
We,
something that everybody has to have every day.
it's a niche market.
That's governor's money we bought that elevator with in the previous administration during COVID.
What, it bond money? No, or was it part of,
See, it wasn't ARP, it was that first round of money come through and we categorized things have tos, need tos, and want to, and that was a have to because the elevator at the courthouse was out.
or was that part of, ESI, ESG?
No,
No.
I'm tripping.
Now, we had two rounds of money come from the state that was called, and one of them was called governor's money, and I forget what the other one was. But that was one of the things we had to do.
We had a problem back in the summer where I was not aware that we had to have these things certified by the state every year. Which Greg left and we've all been listening to it. The state sends us a letter that they're gonna shut the elevator down in 15 days. I called the manufacturer, the one that put it in, this Kone company. They could come and do it, but they could not do it in that short a time. So this TriStar company, we called them, they came right away, they got us recertified, and that was it. We never dealt with them again because we were still under warranty. December 23rd, the phone system inside the elevator it didn't quit working, it was automatically calling 911 with nobody even in the elevator. We called them, they said it would be under warranty, and they would come and fix it. That week between Christmas and New Year, they came, fixed it, didn't even tell me they were there. Sent me back an invoice for $1,646 for 33 minutes of work and said that it was a phone company issue, that it was not covered under the warranty. They even charged us $27 for the guy to go eat lunch. They came from Nashville. Ben Lowman comes, they find no problems. Call the Kone company back, said we can come fix it, but it will not be under warranty at $235 an hour with a minimum of 8 hours. So we did not do that. So right now, currently, if you pick up the phone in the elevator to call out, you want to call out. However, TriStar is coming tomorrow to fix it. So give me an estimate, and then they will look at all of our equipment and give us a quote on that service agreement. Kone's service agreement is $3,800. He said he could guarantee me, you know what it would be, but he can guarantee me it would be cheaper than that. So that's why I'm giving you that $3,800 number. They actually have
That's per year.
per year. But now they will keep us in full compliance. They'll inspect everything, basic maintenance, that sort of stuff.
Is there a quarterly thing that they do?
It's quarterly.
Okay.
Yeah, and all the certifications from the state's annual, but they'll submit every bit of that,
Mm-hmm.
handle all the paperwork as part of that.
They come and check things, check the systems.
It's definitely needed. We won't need that thing to go.
No, that's right.
And the elevators don't have any problems working. This phone issue come up and it kept calling out 911. So Cassie thought that we didn't speak. And I said, I'll stop calling. So it's the company. And Justin actually sent me the contract because I'm not in contact with them.
Yeah.
The first contact I had with them, they were super nice folks, but they could not come and help us out with, they did not have the time, 15, they couldn't fix it within the 15, they couldn't recertify us within 15 days. This TriStar did. So when myself and Executive Bell were not particularly pleased with what we got out of this company, we decided to go and start calling somebody who'd been good to us in the past. That's really where that comes from. I don't know these guys, they're just been real good to us.
Well, Koenig, they do overhead cranes too.
I
I think so. Koenig.
know it's Kone. You're talking about Koenig. Sussman's has all cranes of your own.
Okay.
CONEIEG. That's what you're talking about.
Gotcha.
This is CONE. It's Koenig. That's how it's pronounced.
Okay. So those two we're going to be looking at for estimates for yearly maintenance,
Coney sent us an estimate of $3,880.
right, and then TriStar,
They're coming tomorrow to fix this phone issue.
right. And they're gonna give us
They're
price
gonna
on
give
it.
us price on the, they want their guy to look at all of our equipment, how everything's done, so it's something very accurate. It's not, an elevator's not just an elevator. If you'll notice, the ones at the hospital are twice the size of them.
Yeah.
It's just, they're all different. They won't look at our equipment. He said he could guarantee me it would not be that high.
Yeah. Okay.
But what it'll actually be, I don't really know.
Right. Okay.
I'll make a motion that we let Jason get us a maintenance contract on the elevator. Go for June 1st, so we're in compliance with, have somebody service it.
I'll second.
Chris seconds. Any more discussion? Not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. All right, next thing is discuss other building issues. You want to do the generator first?
Okay.
Go ahead.
The generator. Going to be, quote to install the generator is $82,700. I'm passing. This is Lawson Electric. Lawson Electric is the one that typically is contracted through ESSE. This is the generator company that sells the generator. They were the generator quote, but it is the middle quote. The other quote was for a company I cannot pronounce, but they had an engine nobody really liked. This is one that has the case engine. It's about $13,000 cheaper than the Cummins.
It's 82.
And the price on it is $85,800. It went up some because I did not know in the beginning what size transfer switch we had. I described the building and what we did here, and they all estimated, sent me two estimates, a 400 watt and an 800 watt. We actually had to have a 1200 is what it says it's coming into this building. It's big service. So that greatly it increased the price by about $12,000 on that transfer switch. Now, this Lawson quote is also taking out the existing equipment to reuse it over at the gas side. It is not to install it at the gas side, but they will take the generator because if we replace this generator, we use the same footprint we currently have. It'll be longer, but it's not stick out any further. So we don't have to worry about going across the road or across this little drive with it into the grass. If we don't want to, we can extend the pad that we have down towards the back of the building and set that generator there. But they will remove that generator that we have, and we can discuss getting that repaired or whatever we want to do there. It will be cheaper to get it repaired than it will be to replace it. But that transfer switch downstairs, all the conduit, everything, because the conduit that they have to use for this is twice the size. The wiring that has to go through some generators. All that can be recycled and sent over there. That does include the, taking all that out and moving it over there. At least it won't be hooked up, but it will be moved over, transported over there. So that does, it is a little bit more. It's not that much more of an expense. Lawson will do a lot of that. I have to do that portion out. This company can do an install. Typically, they contract with Lawson. He said they could do it if their schedule, because they go all over the southeast, where Lawson's pretty much Middle Tennessee. If they had availability, they could do it, but the price would not. He said it wouldn't be much different. That was what he said. I got the feeling that since they work so closely with Lawson, they didn't want to cut him out of it. I don't know, but if it's a separate bill, they have tips, or they're at source level. This company is. You do not have to bid out the generator, but you would have to bid out the labor. But that just gives you a general idea of the cost. In that fund, there's $198,000 left right now. That is including what we've already discussed in the generator.
Yeah.
The total cost of what you got in front of you is $168,500. So we have $78,000 minus the $120,000 that this committee already allocated. So needless to say, I missed that by quite if you take the 120 allocated, it's not been encumbered yet, plus the 70 we had 198 in that bond.
Yeah.
But
And so this 82, does that include that extending the pad?
yes,
And,
that's everything.
and the 1200 amp?
Everything to get this building going, plus taking that generator over to the new site. That's not to hook it up, but, I mean, they take a crane and set it on a flatbed, and there's a
Right.
process to that.
Right.
That's taking all our transfer switch out and all the hookups and everything that's currently downstairs, and recycling that over into the new site,
Okay.
the fuel center.
What
So
kind
when
of-
we go to the fuel center, you will not have to start over from scratch. You want to generate the fuel center.
Right. So what kind of a warranty do you get?
This is 5 years. It's everybody else was 2, this one's 5.
Is that the same as this?
This is the electric bid. This is the actual generator.
That's two different.
Two different bids. That's the total
Gotcha.
price.
Gotcha.
One 168.5 going on what's in front of you. Now this right here, if we go with Lawson, or if we go with someone other than this company to do the install, we would have to use this out. This is not. That's only 25,000.
And I'm sorry, the warranty on this was
5 years.
5 years.
Now the or the Cummins and the other. What was the other engine we discussed? I was going to try to look at.
Cat or come
No, we discussed Cat or John Deere was another one.
case?
Okay, this.
This is it.
I don't remember what
Was
those
it,
was.
Either way, they were out of Miami. It's the closest one I could find. That did that.
What kind of a maintenance agreement do they offer for that?
I mean, it may be in here. I really looked at the price and the warranty and just the high point.
Would that be a separate?
It would probably be typically it is.
Do they offer that?
I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
We went with a.
There was a company out of Florida coming and doing the maintenance on all the generators, even the ones at the ambulance service.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know if we want.
and the
It
jail.
wasn't terribly expensive, but it's also
Yeah.
busted out there too. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Not really weren't sure no more than that. It's only ever came on with a power outage one time.
Right.
So it's what I've been told, whatever research I could. And that was coming on Mondays to do a test.
Yeah.
But as far as the power going out in this downstairs or in this building, it actually have to be, come on its own.
Yeah.
Apparently it worked fine. It's only happened once.
Yeah.
Now the things, you looked at.
I mean, yeah, whoever was maintaining it, I was not impressed.
Just, I mean, to me, that has all the signs of a maintenance problem.
Oh, there's no question.
It's
get
not
water-
general wear and tear. That's not.
When you have
something
water in the oil, that's not a good thing. Yeah, okay.
I guess we need a motion to bid out the electric.
Well, we'll probably need a motion. We know that we got this. I mean, you probably want to entertain a motion to spend 168.5 in the total project. And if the bid comes in lower, anything higher than this, surely we would take Austin's bid.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, they work with this company. They do the sort of thing regularly. Commercial type.
Where will our money come from to maintain?
You know.
That would typically come out of, was Jim's budget doing that?
Yeah,
EMA budget was actually done, but Jackie's in there during Candy Farm, and all he has to do is buy the stuff, and they're maintaining the one to jail.
I don't know, that's something we look into, but,
Yeah.
you know, if what we were paying is any kind of indication, it's not very much money, nothing. The EMA budget or even the maintenance budget could absorb it.
Do I have a motion? To spend the 168.
168.5.
For generator. It would come out of bond money that's already been there for going on 8 years.
How much is in that bond?
198's left.
198.
198.
Yeah, we'll get us down to 30,000. I'll make that motion. Do I have a second?
Let me ask a question first. Is there nothing, just looking at the bond money we have left, is there anything that's priority that's we're gonna need us for before we make this decision on this? I mean, I'm talking about just,
Building wise,
yeah.
Well, we're gonna discuss that in a minute. That's why Board of Budget and Finance is here.
I just don't want to second a motion if something's gonna supersede this. That'd be a waste of my motion. So, me personally, I mean, if somebody else can do it, but I just want to be careful that we're not going over, they're all looking at me. Is this gonna be something? Why are you staring at me, Carl?
You're talking, I'm looking,
A piece of bacon or something.
just looking at you. I'll look at Jason while you're talking.
8580 is the generator. That is through Sourcewell. That ain't gonna get no cheaper. Cause it's a Sourcewell bid.
That's best for me, probably.
I'll second it.
Chris seconded, we spend $168,500 on a new generator and all the electrical to plug it up out of the bond money. Do I have any more discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. All right. Next thing on the, other building issues, we have issues at the courthouse on the exterior of the building. And me and Mr. Rubley will walk around the courthouse just a while ago. Scott, you want to explain what you've seen and what I've seen?
Yeah, Michael approached me earlier, pre-budget review, and said we really need some money at the courthouse. We've got some, I know you've got aesthetic issues that's been mentioned on the interior, but there are some exterior issues that are complicating themselves daily. There's a lot of fascia board that's rotted, the wind is leaking, wind is fogged, things like that. And Michael said, "You think we're going to have the money to be able to fix this thing if at the end of the budget?" Well, we're getting close to the end, and we are going to have some money available. And Michael and I used to do carpenter work. It's been a long time, and I know these hourly wages and working up high is rough. Some of the gutters are going to have to be removed. Some of the trim around the towers where the windows were once had been bricked in, and they put some stucco bases in there. We know one of those stucco bases is gone. I don't know if that's allowing water to leak in, but up in the hallway, Bart's courtroom, a lot of water. It's either condensation or leakage from those windows. Windows are fogged, and we could tell that it was inside the double panes or triple panes. There's issues there, but that water's running down, and it's the paint separating from the walls. And those are some things, if you don't address now, they're just gonna get more and more and more expensive all the time. I don't think the equipment, the material is going to be that expensive, but that labor up high is going to be pretty pricey.
So if the windows are steamed up, does that mean the windows have to be replaced?
there's two of them there, I think, that's mine.
I think
The
they're
ones at the top of the stairwell.
Mhm.
So I'm looking outside on Main Street.
Yep. They look like they're leaking. I mean, there's condensation on all of them. It's just no brick building, but there's and a lot of that looks like painted concrete that you tap on the wall, and some of that feels like almost stucco or some kind of plaster on the inside.
So where will the water be getting in?
I don't know.
Around the perimeter of that window?
Those are two sash windows, so those windows are. And I really don't understand the reasoning behind that at the courthouse. They may have been cheaper at the time, but those could be one piece fixed windows,
Right.
really. And of course, Michael, I know you have crossed paths with Historic Society or Main Street McMinnville or whatnot. You think that would be an issue?
Terry's went in front of him, and you just basically, no, Greg went in front of him. Basically, you got to put back the way it took down.
Yeah.
Christie's,
No outside.
well, I mean, you made some dealings with it.
I have. I know that there, some people have asked for forgiveness instead of permission, but I would prefer to go to the correct channels. But they typically want you to put back what is historically,
Again,
which is never cheap.
Well, I honestly don't think
strongly
going
suggest
from a two-piece window to a one-piece window with a grate would change the aesthetics of it. I don't know, it may be that particular, but I know that fascia board up there on the towers, that's right. It's got to be nailed to the rafters up there. And the longer it lasts, the longer it stays, the sooner these rafters are going to start rotting. When it does, it's going to be more and more expensive. But I think that's something that needs to be addressed before anything on the inside does. We walked around and looked. There are some issues on the interior. There's some offices that need some upgrades for sure, but that is imminent in my opinion. And I think the money's there to do it. We discussed $100,000, and Jason just threw out $40,000 for an office remodel. $100,000 might not do it, but I think you get that wood finished and some of the windows replaced anyway. But I think the money's there right now. If we're going to do it, we need to do it before it gets more expensive.
I will say with the Sword Society, sometimes if you just dealing with them, and I only want to know because I walked that stairwell, I know which window you're talking about, but talking about replacing it, what they already have, unless you can convince them, and I use the word convince lightly, of doing something different that looks about the same that's going to last better, then they'll go for it. They just don't want to put something that's totally different. They had this happen.
we can get pretty close to that look.
I think so.
Generally, they'll be like, yeah, it's fine. Especially when they say, this is going to last us. I'm making this up, but, 20, 40 years versus 10 or whatever. So typically they'll go for it, but it's just they don't want something that,
Yeah. So is there a company that we
Well,
have to get?
We'll have to get bids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to do that.
It's going to be way.
And it would have to be companies that are versed in historical buildings.
I would think it's pretty simple. It almost looks like that some of the trim up there. It's like a 3-stage trim on those towers, and it looks like the bottom that any kind of detail. It almost looks like baseboard that's just rounded. It's got a return upside down, so it's not. It wouldn't be complicated. It's simple design.
Labor's gonna cost you more than your materials.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
for sure.
It's a big building, and
It's just
don't
how.
look at big going down Main Street. You start walking around. It's a big building.
No, it would take one and possibly 2 lifts
Built on to
just
twice.
to do the work.
And then working hard. But I think we had $100,000 bid 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think that's what
And
Greg
that did
said.
not include the two windows in particular that are the worst ones in my opinion, right there at the top of the stairway.
Mhm.
Of course, that's a big wall. The more it runs down that wall, the more expensive that's going to get.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it may be a little more than.
Yeah.
And you think that the bid was 100 a few years ago?
I think it was 91 or 92.
It's close.
Yeah, something like that.
Who was that from?
It was through Porter. I think it's through Porter Roofing. Or was it Wayman's? It was either Wayman's or Porter. But I think that's the first issue that we have to look at after the new budget cycle comes through.
We've
We've had a lot more people bid on stuff here recently.
I would suggest we get on it then.
First, as soon as the budget passes.
Yeah.
We need to send that out for bids.
Anything involving water like that, we come under a have to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Before we fix offices and stuff like that.
and it's literally rotted. You can't get up there, of course, but you can stick your finger through it. I'm confident in some places. It's the face is so rotted.
I used to have pictures, I don't think I have anymore, but yeah, it's bad. I know which one you're talking about. Going up the Stanley, as soon as you turn left right there by the
Yeah.
We have had a couple of pieces fall.
Yeah.
But if you go to every corner of the building, it
Yeah.
ain't just one corner. It's
Yeah,
every corner.
every corner of those front towers are rotted.
When you go to replace the one piece, it's basically got to replace it all. So, but that'll be next budget cycle. Only thing is, we've got up $33,000 in this restricted fund we still got left. And to replace all the controllers in the courthouse would cost us $21,000. Do we want to go ahead and do that out of this year's budget and have that done?
We still have 4 here to do. We can do it all.
We could do it all, we could replace them
thermostat
all,
controller. Please.
all the thermostat controls, get them up
We've
to,
done downstairs this whole side in the Magnolia McCoy. We still have 4 in this other building. It's on the old Honeywell system.
They didn't do the controllers through ESG.
The ESG does not match, the controllers are not working with the Pelican controls that we needed at the courthouse that ESG didn't put in. We had to change the controller at the courthouse out because it wasn't the controlling of the tower like it was supposed to.
It's running all types of thermal speed.
Oh,
Or the roof, or the windows.
Yeah,
So-
maybe it's not.
So you add 4 more to that, that's gonna be 28. It's gonna be $24,000. We got 33. We can do that and get that on this budget cycle.
I'll make a motion to do that.
Scott?
Thermostats.
Scott made a motion that we spend right at 24,000 to replace all the thermostats.
We'll need a little bit more at the courthouse. We'll probably put in 4 of those repeaters. They're $120 because these are things you change through the internet. So you probably need to add another $500 to that.
I just make it 25,000.
25?
Scott's made a motion that we spend $25,000 out of the restricted fund to fix the air conditioner thermostats at the courthouse and finish this building. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Chris second. Any discussion?
Who's gonna do that work?
CHC's do that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Lee.
I will say this, since going with CHC, it's been close to 10 months now since that's who we've swapped over to. They have not yet to fix something that they've already fixed.
Wonderful.
So
That's a good sign.
they all remember what the other one's like.
Yes.
3 months later, they were fixing the same thing. They just came to fix that. It's not been an issue anymore.
We need to hold on to them with both hands.
They've been really good to us. Matter of fact, 2 of the repeaters that's in this building, they just came to us because they haven't and they needed them. Well, I had to make another key. I just don't worry about it. Like $121 fixed.
Wonderful.
So they've just been real good to us.
Wonderful.
Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion passes. Is there any other building issues we need to discuss? Next thing is any public comment. Rob, Kelly, Stacy,
Nothing?
nothing?
Not joking?
Scott, Carl, Christie? If not, there's nothing else. Take a motion to adjourn. Tommy's made a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Scott second. All in favor say aye. Thank everybody for coming.